Hi, good morning.
Sorry
Hi.
about that. I had some technical difficulties with internet. So
Oh, no worries. Thank you so much for joining us. We are live, so we'll get straight into things. Thank you so much, Noel, for joining us on this webinar today. We really appreciate your time. It's funny, right before you came on, Dyson and I were just chatting about skilled trades and millwrights in particular, and we were both like, even though we're in the industry and learning, we still don't exactly know what a millwright does. Like you hear electricians, you hear plumbers, but millwrights are a skilled trade that I think is a little bit of an anomaly, that people aren't exactly sure, what you guys do. So I'm thrilled that you could join us today and answer some questions and talk to us about what you do for a living. And certainly if you have the opportunity to connect it back to the food industry, because this is generally the audience that we're talking to, then that would be amazing. So thank you.
no problem. I'm glad to be invited to this. I look forward to talking, especially to people looking into the skilled trades as a career or second, third career. It doesn't matter. But key
Yeah.
point is skilled trades as a career. It's not a job, and that's where we have to start with. Okay, because for our organization, we're committed to building the best millwrights, and we expect commitment for a career out of that. Okay, because we put a lot into it. Our members put a lot into it, and specifically with training and education and keeping up to date. But yeah, so career is the word that we like to use, because if we're not here for a job, like we're
Yeah.
not. And then I think a lot of the people, your audience, is in that same boat too, where they're not looking for a job. They're looking to be in a career that's actually going to be beneficial and make a good wage doing it, and a pension. So
Yes. Well, we're going to dive into all of that. I'm thrilled that that's even where you start. Like with careers now, we try not to talk about jobs,
yeah,
especially when we're attracting people into the food industry, because there is a long-term career path, regardless of the entry point. If someone's coming in fresh as a fresh new grad, there's lots of different avenues to go in. So couldn't agree more. So maybe we can start with you introducing yourself. A little bit about yourself, your education, how you got into, doing what you're doing today. And then we'll kind of learn a little bit more about the millwright occupation after that.
yeah. So first off, my name is Noel Katruzis. I'm the business representative for Millwright Local 1960 and the Millwright Regional Council. I'm also the vice president of this local. I started off with a little bit different of a career path. I went the university route first. I was given an opportunity to go play a sport that I loved in the States, so I took that opportunity. And then when I finished, I needed to get life in check, because sitting behind a desk with a business background and cold calling people just wasn't what I wanted to do. So I went in. If it wasn't for my opportunity to play lacrosse, then I would have went right into the trades right out of high school. It was my mindset. I grew up with it. Like I said, my father is a aircraft, or was, he's retired now from Bombardier as an aircraft engineer for 34 years. And my brothers are both iron workers in 721 in Toronto, and I'm the millwright. So it was lineage. Everyone in our family was mechanical. They all went into the trades, the males, and that was kind of my next path for forward. But I decided to go a different route to try it out. Went to university, took business administration there, and then again when I finished there, joined the Millwright Union. I got accepted, wrote the aptitude test, got accepted, and then did my apprenticeship right through, which is it's 4 years, or it's technically 8,000 hours, but it works out to be about 4 years with schooling involved there. And I did my apprenticeship, wrote my certificate of qualification, which means I finished my apprenticeship, and now I'm qualified. I'm certified as a skilled millwright in the province of Ontario. And from there, sky's the limit where you go. My path is different from others' paths, right? Because I became journeyman, then I went into supervision, so as a foreman, general foreman, and then we went into supervisor roles, and then I went into the training side. So my background is in 2014. I started training part time as a part time instructor for our local and our council. I came full time in 2020, right before the pandemic hit. So it was a bad time to come over, but it was a good time the same because the opportunity was there and it wasn't something that I was willing to give up. So I took the opportunity. I was a full-time trainer here for 3 years, and then October 2022, I started my position as the business rep here for our council. So that's kind of my path of progression to get to where I am right now. So there's a
It's
lot of work involved.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's interesting you did take the university route. Would you say that's because even though your family, because typically people will follow in the footsteps of family members, or they know what they know and you don't know what you don't know. So you aren't aware of a lot of career paths that exist. Would you say that was because, this occupation, the skilled trades, this route wasn't really something that was encouraged when you were at school, or?
See, that's a big thing, and this is a big talking point. Like that question that you just said right there is a very big talking point of mine when I go and do other speaking events. Before, when I graduated in 2004 from high school. Back then it was, the guidance counselors pushing, university, college, right? The only people that they were tending to push towards the skilled trades in general were the ones, that they didn't think were, smart enough, or, they had the stigma behind. They would be the ones in the smoke pits, at lunchtime or whatever, hacking darts. And that's the people that they had that, you know what I mean? There's a stigma around construction, the trades that were like the second tier. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Like, with that. So now as we progress and we're in 2023, it's not the guidance counselors anymore that I'm finding. Okay. And I speak with quite a few people, and it's not the guidance counselors, because they are more pushing people to both now, college, university, and the skilled trades. They're letting the kids figure it out. I'll try to figure it out. Okay. It's very, very hard to tell a 16-year-old to make your schedule to suit the rest of your life in high school, to figure out what you're going to be granted or accepted in, to go to a college or a university or wherever path you go at 16-year-olds to figure that out. So the biggest change now that I notice, it's not the guidance counselor, it's the parents. And the parents always want their kid to be a doctor, a lawyer, so on. Okay. They want those professional careers. They don't realize that you can have a very, very good career in the skilled trades with, good wages, a pension. Okay. Like ours alone right now is $8.50 an hour is going into a pension you don't even know about. Like it's just going into a pension for that's over 17 grand a year working 40 hours a day. You have no idea. It's just going into a pension. And that's the type of things that we're trying to go to these parents with, and people that influence our youth, and saying, you have to think about this route now. We've made it where you can't discredit us anymore as a skilled trades. We are a viable career path. Everybody that I know that's in the skilled trades, they, if they live within their means, that is, they do well. Okay. Because the thing is with us, if you're willing to put in the work, it's going to pay off. We have everything structured. I know on the union side, we have collective bargaining agreements that it's structured. You don't have to worry about your pay. You don't have to worry about nothing. Everything is structured. Where the other side, where, they're it's almost like they're disappointed at their child if they don't go to university or they don't go to college because like not everyone's meant for that. We need people. We need the millwrights. We need the electricians. We need doctors. We need lawyers. We need people that work at, the counters at Tim Hortons. We need the people that work production lines at Frito-Lay. Like we need these people at everyone. So to have your mindset say, my kid's too good for that. That's wrong. And that's kind of the route that I go when I speak to these people or the parents specifically, is it's okay for your kid to be in the skilled trades. Like I do, like I have a family. Okay. I've been fairly successful. I've also worked my ass off too. Yeah. And I've got there because and that's the key. If you put in the work, it don't matter what you do. If you put in the work, it's going to pay off.
Yeah.
People need to realize that effort.
And I agree. I think parents do push their kids into something, and the kids end up feeling inadequate, not good enough. Because, like you say, even if you are academic, doesn't mean you're going to become a doctor. Like, that doesn't mean that's a very intense route, and that's just one example. So why not allow your kid to just flourish and do so well in a role that perhaps isn't what you had planned for them, but it's something that they love and that they're good at, and then they feel good. And you talked about, you tend to work your ass off when you're enjoying what you're doing.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's a huge thing about it, is it goes back to you're asking a 16-year-old kid to decide how to plan for the rest of their life. And that's why you have so many second careers and third careers, because they were just doing it just to appease their, okay, I just need to get a job.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And a lot of that happened where they weren't afforded the information from schools. Okay. Now we've kind of corrected that with the guidance counselors and everything. Now it's going back to the stigma part of the skilled trades and how it's a lesser class. Like, no, it's not, man. Like, it's not. We are like, I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but it's like a lot of our, the CEOs, presidents, project managers, superintendents of these massive companies, the Acons, Trademark, they were all skilled trades people. They learned, okay? They just did it instead of going and sitting in a 300-person lecture learning about economics. They learned the real way, and that is being on the floor and learning. Okay, you learn the way. Talking with the accountants, talking with the bookkeepers, talking with your project manager. Like, that's how you learn, and that's essentially what an apprenticeship is too. In the skilled trades, is you're going to do that job, whether it's a millwright, electrician, whatever it is, you're doing it hands-on. You're learning. It's just people got to realize not everybody learns the same. Okay, and when people realize that, okay, and then maybe they will stop getting as offended to say, nah, your kid, I don't think they're going to pass, fourth year physics to get their biochemistry. So I don't think they're like, it's just, it's getting rid again of the stigma behind the skilled trades. And we're doing a good job with it, because everywhere you look now, whether it's food and beverage, automaking's huge right now in Ontario, but it doesn't matter where you go. It's still a very good paying job that will look after your retirement as well. So
I think you hit the nail on the head with the information too, because I know when I was at school, my parents didn't really mind what I did, but there was definitely this overwhelming feeling of, it's just enough, go into business, an office job. Like, get a clean office job. That's what you should do. And what does that even mean? And to a lot of people, and now years on, you kind of learn that sitting in a box with no natural light, that office that was so appealing, is actually super detrimental to your health, your mental health, and perhaps being more active and hands-on is actually going to make you happier in life, and like, not even taking into account the good salary and all the rest of it, just physically being better off.
You enjoy what you do. One, you tend to work harder. 10, you excel at it, and that usually better things happen when you do stuff that you like. You know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, don't get me wrong. I'm speaking for myself. It's like we work because we have to pay our bills. That's just how society and the economy is made, right? Like, if I didn't have to work, say I won the lottery, I'd be golfing every morning at 7 a.m. I'd enjoy life. But the path that I went to the job that I'm at now, even my prior one as the training coordinator, like, I like those jobs. So I actually didn't wake up in the morning and be like, man, like, I gotta go into work. Like, it's some days, I'm human, it happens, but for majority of my time, I actually like coming into my office. I do. I get to deal with a lot of good people. And when it comes to the tool side, like when I was on the tools, it was tiring, but I still liked going because I got to take apart stuff or build something. And that's stuff that as you grow up, whether you're into the Legos or whatever you grew up in, it all kind of reminisces when you in later life, because you got to figure out what you want to do. You have to figure out what you want to do, because you got at least 40 years of doing it before you can say, hey, I'm going to retire.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned the Lego. I've got friends that are teachers that say that, in this day and age, young people, some young people really struggle to build a Lego set because it's not instant gratification. They have to work at it, they have to build it, they have to use their hands, and then, they'll give it to somebody else to build. They want the built product kind of thing. And then you do have others that it's not the end product, it is the process of building that is really what they enjoy.
Yep.
I mean, this is stuff that's probably being looked at, but I think there should be more of that. And then, to your point, stop making young people feel that it's a lesser career path and a lesser thing to do, and just recognize the differences. I think we are getting there. I definitely see a difference. I think we are getting there slowly and surely, but there is the parent piece. I think that's a huge part that, I work with my hands, so I don't want my kids to. I want them to have that clean, wearing a suit, even though that since the pandemic, all that stuff has kind of gone out the window as well. And people are working from home and the whole work environment has changed. I think this is an exciting time to sort of sit back, and I think the pandemic did allow for that, to sit back and say, what do I actually like doing? And a lot of people, like you mentioned second career, probably did say, why am I doing what I'm doing? I've now had this pause button, this reset opportunity. And now, did you find a lot of that, people retraining, coming back and looking at skilled trades, or particularly millwright profession?
Yeah, they're like, especially during, and I use this just because it's happened in the last couple of years, but when the printing industry, okay, so Metroland Media, when they shut down, we have the Hamilton Spectator not far from here, or it was the Hamilton Spectator. That's not far from here. We actually took their millwrights. They applied to us after 25 years, and they were never registered apprentices, but they were technicians and doing millwright work. So we took them on and we started them on their apprenticeships, and they were like, and it's funny, after working that all those years in that plan, and they come into say an organization like ours, they're like, well, why was I never registered? Like, why did I never go this, or why I was always told differently, right? So, like, we run into that quite a bit, especially on the non-union side. Some they'll have apprentices or pre-apprentices, as they call them. They actually call them helpers, but millwright helpers. But even say pre-apprentices, and then they'll be working for 2-3 years, just taking advantage of them completely, not registering them. So, advice for anybody that's listening right now: if you go to a job, whether union, non-union, okay, if you go and register or want to become an apprentice, and they tell you, oh, we're going to give it a year, or we're going to get, I'm telling you right now, guys, you will not be a registered apprentice. Like, just save yourself. You have to go in when you apply with the goal of, are you going to register me? Am I going to be a legitimate apprentice when I start hour one with you? Because if not, I'm going to go look somewhere else, because that's what we're seeing a lot of. And we do interviews quite a bit now with apprentices or even journey persons that are with other companies. And it's actually shocking how much you hear about that. And that's, to me, that's taking complete advantage of somebody. Because why? Because now, when you're not a registered apprentice, there's no wage standard, right? For an A1, an A2, A3, A4, or A5, right? Where when you're deemed a helper or a pre-apprentice, they can pay you whatever they want. Like, they can pay you whatever they want regardless, but you don't have any backing yourself. Be like, well, why am I not getting paid this, or why am I not registered? Like, oh, well, you're not a registered apprentice.
Yeah.
So that's just advice that I would give, that they do not offer you an apprenticeship. Take a chance somewhere else, because it ain't gonna work out. They're gonna mess you around for a while. Okay, a few years, you're gonna get frustrated. Okay, and it's just, you're gonna end up having to restart again, and you'll start from zero again when you go to somebody that actually does register you properly. And that's a huge thing. Be registered apprentice with Skilled Trades Ontario and the Ministry of Labor.
Good advice, and we will be sharing some nuggets of information on our channel. So that's awesome advice. So if we could switch gears, like, I feel like we started off kind of really explaining why people should explore this. But if you wouldn't mind, can you break it down? Like, what is a millwright? Like, really dumb it down for me.
So that was something that I didn't even know, like literally what a millwright was, like when I first started, or before when I was looking in when I finished at school, I was looking into trades, right? So I went to I looked into like the HVAC and millwrighting side because one of colleague of mine, he said, "Hey, have you ever heard of a millwright?" I was like, what is a millwright?" So I had to Google it. I look it all up and see what it was. Like, that actually interesting. So what we are industrial mechanics in a nutshell. Okay, so we do everything from the construction or installation, assembly of brand new equipment, machinery. Okay, any machinery to the maintenance side of it, like from maintenance. So we always want to build it, then we want to maintain it. Maintaining is the big piece for us, maintenance, right? But it can be any form of machinery. So when you got, making Doritos at Frito-Lay, or the machine that cleans beer bottles at Molson's on Carlingview there. Any of the machineries for making steel slabs that go then get crushed down to thin, that go to become cans for soup, like any form of machinery, that's millwrights built that, install that, and maintain that. So it can range from anything from the installation part to alignment, precision alignment, like within 1 to 2 thousandths of an inch, so 0.001 to 0.002 of an inch, depends what the tolerance is. To the heavy rigging, like it's like we got guys right now at the Fasco, the steel plant here, ArcelorMittal, today, and they're probably rigging up 30-ton pieces of equipment, just doing replacements, 15-ton cylinders, that they're like these massive things. So it keeps it interesting. And in our organization with us, it's good because we have so many contractors that are signed with us that can only hire millwrights from us, and they like that because we train them properly. This is your forklift ticket or your rig ticket is not going to Brampton or Mississauga for 20 minutes and then all of a sudden you're certified on it. Like, no, you're going to come to our training center. We're doing a full day for a forklift. We're doing a full day then we're going to teach you the proper ways. Rigging, full week. Welding, okay, it can be whatever. We do it properly because we owe that to our contractors and our stakeholders, that we're going to provide the best product to them. And then in turn, they can turn to now their clients, the Frito-Lays, Molson's, the Fascos, Toyotas, GMs, like these places, and say, this is our crews. All the nuke plants, you guys hear about SMRs, nukes, and all this, Darlington, Bruce Power, all across. That's our people that are in there because of the training that we do to prepare our people for when they go into these situations. Mm-hmm. And with us, again, with the millwright side, it's interesting, and the part that I like and a lot of people like was one day you can be food and beverage, and the next day you can be automotive, the next week you can be back in the steel plant. You choose where you go. We're millwrights. A machine's a machine to us.
Right.
Okay? Whether however we deal with it, a lot of it's very similar. Processes are different. Installation, maintenance, all that is similar for us. Gotcha. So it's just a different sector. That's
so if you have a kid that is literally like pulling things apart and then rebuilding them, or loves to build the IKEA furniture, like those, you know what I mean? Like that's if you're seeing your young son or daughter really, gravitating to, my youngest would do this, any kind of anything, clock or anything, I always found it in pieces and then he'd try and rebuild it. Yep. Because there was an interest to see how it worked, like what was going on inside. It used to drive me a bit crazy, I'll be honest. But
that's cool. That's how I was. Like, and even now when we go and we're trying to figure out how to diagnose something, like a client calls us in like, hey, our bagging line isn't working. Okay, well, does it run? If it runs, way better, because then we can actually see what's happening and then we can diagnose. When it's not running, that's when we run into the problems where we have to do every single, whether it's the check and currents, to check and make sure there's no air leaks. Like there's steps down that we all take, right? That we have, but that's what an apprenticeship is. The people you're working, the journey person that you're working with, and us, we're training you. It's a 4-year training cycle to be able to do that on your own now. Now you'd be like, hey, where is it going to start? Okay, I know how to. I used to take stuff apart like your kid there. I'd take it apart, and why I did is because then it was my way of teaching myself how something works.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that's a very good sign as a parent to see. If your kid's growing up and doing things like that, why on God's earth would you ever say, you should be a lawyer?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're enjoying it. You can make a darn good living at doing that, just a lot larger scale.
Yeah,
So,
it's that curiosity, isn't it? Yeah. So who do you work with, like day in, day out? Who are you working in a team? Is it individual work? Like, what does it look like?
so I'm for milk, because myself, I work in an office now at our training center in Hamilton. It's me and our business manager that look after this local. But for the guys on the tools, we're honestly, they're in every sector you can think of. We have guys in every sector right now, from like I said, energy, steel making, food and beverage, automotive. Like, they're everywhere. And guys, they tend to. Some people find their niches. Okay, they'll be like, I only like car plants. I only like food plants or bottling or whatever. I only like steel plants. And then those are the niche guys, really good at alignment. Okay, really good welder or rigger. Okay, they kind of find their own way and what they like to do because they have to be interested in doing it. And then there's a majority of us millwrights that it don't matter what works, and we're gonna go and we're gonna build that, or we're gonna maintain it. We're gonna make this working again. So it's honestly the trades, okay, again, and the millwrights in particular. It's up to the individual to figure out what they want to do. Okay, and like I said, most people like the vast range of things that we do as millwrights, and they like that. Some guys only like that specific, niche specialty, which is
Like almost
hey,
like the predictability. I
yeah,
know I can fix this.
it
Yeah.
is. It's just for whatever reason it is, they're comfortable doing it. That's all they want to do. That's fine. Myself, I love doing everything. I was like, no, I want to play with that thing right over there.
Variety.
That's what I want. Like, what I mean, I'm done with this thing over here. I want to go over there now.
Yeah.
So I want to figure out how that works. So but each their own. You have to figure out what you want to do. Like that.
Yeah.
That starts with that's number one. So.
Like you said, there's something for everybody. You can't have everybody that wants to just do one thing, and you need the differences, the people that would jump into different projects and
broaden your skill set. Like,
yeah.
that's it. And we offer it. Like, here, our training center, we offer like countless courses. Like, we just tell our members, go on our website, see the courses we offer, you sign up for it. Like, our members don't pay for training. You just have to show up.
Yeah.
You tell us, you show up, we do the proper training for you. Okay. And some people you gotta, I'm not into the babying anymore, and that's something that we've changed our culture a little bit around here. Is and the first thing I really say to people is, or when I go and talk to new apprentices or new members that we bring in, I ask first question, are you over 18? And all of them will be, yeah, I'm over 18. Okay, good, you're all adults now. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is how you act like an adult. Mommy and daddy aren't going to be there to, turn that wrench for you. You're not going to go, like, if you're going to go and tell your mom that you got in trouble today because you didn't do your job, and they call, and they're not going to come and call me. Okay. Like, you're an adult now. You have to start realize, like, it's not my responsibility to let you know that your working at Heights ticket is expired.
Yes.
Okay? Like, it's changing that culture, that babying stance of it, of babying our youth of today. We have to prepare them. Like, I'm a parent to a 6-year-old daughter, and it's my job, just like it's your job as a mom, to prepare our children for what's coming. And yeah, there's nature versus nurture, but right now I deal with the nature part, not the nurture. Like, we're adults now. I deal with the adult side. So.
Yeah, let them fail. I think we've gone through a period of time where, it seemed so foreign to let your kids fall flat on their faces. But I actually think that, and I'm not alone, that's when you learn. So would you say that that's something that you allow, like, make a mistake?
Yes, we
That's
do.
how you learn.
But the thing is, before any of our members go on a job, they're going to be trained. Okay, we go over the law with them big time. We need them to know what the Occupational Health and Safety Act says for them. Okay, we call it the Green Book. That's basically the Bible of industrial and construction in Ontario. Okay, so we have to follow. So we let them know their rights, because even going, especially as the younger people or apprentices, when they get told somebody by a superior, they don't like to give it back, be like, yeah, I don't feel safe doing that. Or the green book says I shouldn't be doing that. Oh, no, you go do it. And they get intended, they go do it, then they get hurt or something happened. So for us, no, it's simple. Like, we're going to teach you exactly what your rights are, okay, and what you're liable for as well, okay, because there is liabilities on workers and supervision as well. And we teach you to prepare you so that you can, when you go into, a situation that you don't feel comfortable in, now you speak up. And that's it. And then the benefit about being on the union side is if that contractor ain't listening, they're basically gonna trash you for that. That's when they call myself or my colleague, and then we step in and we'll be like, yeah, absolutely not. This is not how this isn't about an effort thing. This isn't about an attitude thing. This is about you trying to make somebody intimidated to go do a job that they shouldn't be doing. And you know that. Lockout, huge. Okay, that's a very big thing. Confined space, huge, very big thing. Okay, and when people get intimidated by it and they don't think that they have a voice, or they think that, oh, I just got to be a body and do it. Well, guess what? You're probably like, I want you to go home at night. That's goal one. So, and that's, to me, that's start and finish. So
that's huge safety concerns. My experience is more in the food industry, but when I've walked through plants, and I'm familiarize yourself with the line, and you've got sanitation people that are going in to clean things, and you have those buttons that shut down the line, because people aren't following safety protocols and things. Those machines are huge, and it doesn't bear thinking about what could go wrong if you don't know your rights and you aren't completely trained in the safety aspects.
But even go to the parts of it, because you mentioned sanitization, right? Like, we deal with HACCP, right? Which is their critical control point, like how they have. HACCP is a very detailed procedure of how they clean stuff. Every facility has a procedure for how they do it, steps they do. And even as we prepare our members that go in to see the food and beverage places where it like sanitization is critical for their operation, we teach them beforehand. They are a part of this. They go by these guidelines. Okay, this is their HACCP. This is what their plan is. You need to know this. So again, when you show up and say somebody's telling you to do something, like, no, see that we can't do that because their critical control point is that thing right there, which they need to. You know what I mean? It's all, we try to prepare everybody as much as we can, but a lot of it, they're not going to know everything before they go to a job. And this is, again, where even as a journeyman, like, I can go on jobs right now. Yeah, I'm going to take a job. Doesn't mean I know everything. I know less than I do know. Like, there's a lot less that I don't know than there is that I know. You know what I mean? So you're always learning, man. It's not just an apprenticeship that you're learning of, because honestly, industry's changing huge. With artificial intelligence, automation, that's next. Either you adapt or you die. So our job is to prepare our members and our millwrights for our stakeholders, to prepare them to be efficient, because it's always runs back to money for the clients. We need our contractors to make money. We need their clients to make money, because if none of them are making money, none of us are making money.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, there's the stigma about the union and non-union. Like, we're a private union. Okay. Like, everybody always sees, the publicly funded unions on the news, and, for whatever, issues that they're having. And with us, it's like, no, there's also accountability. We will terminate your membership if you're not doing your part. Like,
right.
There's accountability involved, because there's a very good wage that you're paid. There's all your pensions and benefits and everything that come along with being a member here. But guess what? If you think you're just showing up and doing nothing, and we know about it, you're not going to last with us, because we owe that to not only our stakeholders, but also our other members, okay, that are working with that person. That why should they work that much harder when they're making the exact same? No, everybody is a team. You work as a team. You get things done as a team, and you do your part. And if you're not doing your part, that's, again, stigma. Everyone thinks the unions are, not everyone, but a lot of people think that unions, protect, you have to murder somebody to get. It's like, that's no. That's not how we operate. That's not how a lot of skilled trades unions operate. We are private. And there's a big difference that people need to know about that.
Well, you have a pride that you each represent each other. One bad apple can, make the rest of you look bad. And I understand that. I also like the fact that it comes across that there really is a team there. You really do have the backs of your co-workers and people that are in the union. If something is going on that shouldn't be, it's nice to feel like people have your back in the work world.
There's a lot of grimy people out there.
Yeah.
I'm being completely honest. There's a lot of people that don't give any care in the world about you or anything. They just want that line running again, and they don't care how it happens. They don't care walk out. They don't care nothing. And again, that is training. That is being competent. Okay, that we teach our people. Again, this isn't a union non-union thing. This is a
safety,
workforce and safety thing. Okay, but there's people out there. I just want, whether it's your listeners to really know, is that you speak up, like, and you say, like, section 43.3, it's your right to refuse unsafe work. It said the law states you do not have to do something you don't feel comfortable, and if you're going to be punished for it, well, guess what? Section 50 covers that one. So, and it's just knowing that. And that doesn't mean you're being lazy. That has nothing to do with laziness, that you're denying or turning down unsafe work. Like, no, that's not. And again, non-union side, they're probably going to get away with doing whatever they do with that employee. With us, our guys, they know, no, if I'm terminated for something like that, then we're going to step in. There's always two sides to a story, and we'll always listen to both sides too. That's another key thing. It's not just one side. Client doesn't like you, you're gone. Like, no, it's not how this works. Why don't they like you?
What is going on?
It's
good and bad, like you say. In terms of, we've talked a lot about technical skills. What would you say to being a successful millwright are the soft skills that people need? I mean, communication just popped up in my head because you're speaking about how you need to be able to eloquently say, I don't feel safe and I don't have to continue doing this. It's one thing to go, I'm not doing this and walking out, but having the communication skills to effectively, have that conversation.
That's part of it. Like, with us, like, so when we do an apprenticeship intake, we start right with an aptitude test. Okay, so our aptitude test is 4 parts. It's numerical, mechanical, spatial, which is like blueprint reading. You basically, like, you have a box, or say this pad of paper right here. Okay, it's a rectangle. Okay, it would basically be, this side would be colored, then we fold it all out, everything out, and then we'll give you 4 diagrams being like, this is put together, which one does it look like? It's little things like that tell us how you in your mind can figure little things out, because it goes back to blueprints, and this is where the math can do. You don't know basic addition and subtraction and fractions. We don't deal with anymore, because the majority of us is metric system, which is, like, to me, it's the superior system. The US is the only ones that use the imperial system still. So with metric, it's defined numbers, decimals, okay, decimal points, okay, adding, subtraction, huge, multiplication, division, the basic math sets that you need for that. Okay, and our aptitude test will distinguish who has that basic stuff. Then so the minimal fractions anymore, it's all decimal points. Even with imperial, we go to the thousandth and 10,000th of an inch on things, so it's all decimal point, because that's more precise and accurate. You're not doing fractions. So people that are worried about fractions, don't worry about fractions anymore, because that's old school. The mechanical side, this is where we see what knowledge you're actually coming in with, and it can be as simple as, do you know your screwdriver heads? If I turn a gear this way and it's connected to a gear this way, which way is that gear going to take? Again, to us, some people would be pretty simple to picture that in their mind, where others don't, know that, But my thing is like, I look at the scores of the math and the mechanical very heavily with that, because it's a large part of our trade, but it's not the end all be all, because again, if you're willing to learn, we can teach you to be a millwright. You just got to put in the effort. We just need a starting point of where to start with you.
That's fascinating, and I think it's so encouraging, like really anybody, when you say that, I mean, you know, because there are doubts, people are scared, am I going to be able to do this, am I going to embarrass myself, can I do it? So I love that you phrase it that way. It's kind of like a place for everybody. We'll help you find it, you do the work, we'll help you find it, kind of thing.
That's life.
Yeah. You mentioned AI and robotics and automation.
Yep.
How is all of that, the innovation, all these changes, how is that changing your industry, like your job?
Production wise, it's turning it on edge. Okay, so luckily they haven't figured out how robots fix machines yet, so I think we're good for the next little while, at least until I'm retired in whatever year that is, 2040 sometime. It's starting there. The thing that we're noticing the most on is production. And I did actually your guys' podcast, the FoodGrad podcast with Veronica there not too long ago. And I mentioned this on there was, I've been a part of, say a Frito-Lay was the example I use, where I took out 6 lines and added robots and I took up 18 jobs. Okay. Yeah. Again, whether you're talking about the transportation, okay, when we went from the rail system horse and buggy to the rail system, and we went from the production line with Henry Ford, and like these are all industrial revolutions that are happening. And the key thing to these things is either you adapt or you die. Okay, don't even attempt to stop it. You ain't stopping it, especially right now with AI. Automation's huge on the production side. Okay, for us, we still have to build that. We still have to maintain that as millwrights. Okay, production side, no. Like, voila. Okay, the grocery delivery place that we've been putting up what we call the honeycombs, and they're basically massive facilities with guy wires all hanging. And there's little robots that go in these cells and they pack orders. They're doing everything that a human used to do. Okay, Amazon, we've been putting those up like crazy lately. Okay, the distribution centers and the conveyor systems in there to even Canada Post right now with all their upgrades they're doing in their mail. It's like the need for humans in those types of settings, production is diminishing. And it's not a secret. Okay, it is diminishing. It's it's part of this current industrial revolution that we're dealing. And now, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and be like, "Oh, my job just got taken over by a robot," or are you going to be like, "Shit, maybe I should learn how to fix that robot, or maybe I should upgrade my skills so that I'm up with the times now."
Yeah. Well, because an interesting thing is a lot of those production roles, the people that work on the line, the reason companies have to switch, there's so many reasons, but like efficiency and all the rest of it, but also that they can't get people to fill those positions, and it means that the line suffers. So it's a natural progression and evolution that, companies are always going to want to do things more faster, more efficient, less food waste, all these types of things. But 100% agree with you. It's not necessarily that there's less jobs. There's less jobs on doing that particular thing, but there's more opportunity to upskill and learn other skills, and then you will have a job in the future.
We as the human race have to evolve too, and we've been doing it for centuries, and we've always found a way. And the people that are always finding behind are the ones that are like, "Oh, feel sorry for me. I just, it's like, well, what did you do to keep up?"
Yeah.
Like, I know for us, our organization, we're constantly training. We're always constantly, but that's part of it. You have to, just like say in the food and beverage industry, like if there's people got to remember, corporations are there to make money. If they can find the way to be the most efficient possible and to cut down on their expenditures, they're going to do it whether we like it or not. So what side of the fence do you want to be on? The side where they can't tell you, for the millwrights, and they haven't figured out how a robot can fix a robot yet. Not yet, at least.
Not yet.
Or do fix a reactor, or you know what I mean? Like there's certain things that you still need the human element for, but it's evolving yourself. Like I know in my position right now, I'm going to have to evolve in the next 25 years. Okay. At something, I don't know what yet, but it's always changing. And you always have to be open. The people that are going to fall behind and get stuck are the ones that say, feel sorry for me, or I got a bad shake at it. It's like, yeah, you could have gotten a bad handle on this, okay, and some bad luck, but guess what are you going to do next?
Yeah, how are you going to make it work for
How are you
you?
going to make it work?
You mentioned that you're based in Hamilton and you can work in Ontario. Having said that, the skill set once you become a millwright, you can take that anywhere, correct?
Anywhere. So
Like you can
we
work
are
anywhere.
registered. Yeah. So we're 433A is our trade code, industrial mechanic millwrights, IMM. Okay, which is a red seal trade. Okay, so what that means with red seal, it means that within Canada, there's 5 or more jurisdictions, which is their fancy way of saying territories and provinces that have the same curriculum on their apprenticeship to achieve that CFQ or certificate of qualification to become a journey person. So we're 433. So with us, in our organization, with Millwright Regional Council of Canada, we're coast to coast. We have 14 locals across Canada that are all 433A or equivalent in the trade. So when you get somebody from us, or when you apply, it's going to be you're a registered apprentice, you're doing your apprenticeship, and you're completing your apprenticeship. We're not in the business of making apprentices. We're in the business of making journey persons. Okay?
Right.
That's how we go. So for clients, stakeholders, like whether say if somebody from I had somebody from Delta BC call me and be like, hey, I have a facility that's here. I'm like, I got the perfect person to call. Okay, and I gave him the local that was in BC. I said, you talk.
Right.
There's not a whole lot I can do outside of my jurisdiction because they're the ones that know they have their manpower. Our local has mine, and we share throughout Canada. Like they have a job that's on the East Coast and they're having trouble, guess what? There's going to be calls coming to all of our email box, be like, hey, help us out. And then
Yeah.
our ticket is now recognized because it's 433 and it's recognized throughout Canada. There is no, well, they're not quality. Yeah, and guess what? Yeah, we are. Like they automatically accept it. So that was something we recently actually switched over from, or to do was the 433A because we were specifically construction millwrights prior to that. Right, but we've evolved. Our trade has evolved a lot. So then we went into the 433 red seal, and now there is no. It's we go
No
everywhere.
limits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're getting the same education. You're getting the same skill sets as you would anywhere.
We had a question come in. If I may ask, how can I enroll from outside of Canada? Do you offer apprenticeship opportunities or training to folks outside of Canada?
Well, there's some legalities to that because then you're dealing with work visas and immigration. But for someone that's outside of Canada, depends where they are. Again, I'm speaking on behalf of my union. We're international, so we're again. If you say somebody sent me in a resume and they're from I don't know Louisiana or somewhere, I would then forward that to our counterparts in Louisiana at
Right.
that council. We have structure. Like we respect each other's boundaries, but we also work together to say, yeah, no, I'm going to forward it off to so and so. They're the ones that will be able to answer this for you, right? So, um, if it's someone that's looking to come to Canada, if you're legal to work here, we'll gladly accept an application.
Yeah.
It's what I mean, but we have definitely legalities. Like everything is registered. There is no off the books stuff with us because we are very, very heavily scrutinized as unions. Okay, because we're technically nonprofit organizations. So there's if you're legal to work here, you have every opportunity just like anybody else.
Yeah.
So.
I've got so many questions I never got to. We could do another hour, I feel like, on this stuff. But in terms of how busy you are and in demand, and if I'm a young person starting out, why would I choose to be a millwright? Are there a lot of job opportunities for me? I think I know the answer to this, but
the skilled trades are what Canada as of right now. We're 350,000 short. Ontario, I think we're 180,000 short right now. For upcoming projects. They need to get started those projects, albeit there's a lot of bureaucracy happening right now at the government levels that are holding up a lot of these projects. But it's a great time, honestly, to be a trade. And again, I represent millwrights. I'm a millwright, but you don't have to be a millwright. There's so many trades there. You need to figure out what you want to do, and once you figure that out, that's the hardest part. Then it's effort. After that, it's effort and willing to learn for it. But skilled trades, you're not going to go wrong with skilled trades. Okay, you again put in the effort, have a good attitude, Okay, I'm not asking you, like I say, there's 4 things. Okay, I say to everybody, if you can do 4 things, or these 4 things, you're gonna have a successful career. First one, punctuality. If you show up on time, okay, you're not strolling in 5 minutes late or right at the start when you're supposed to. Now, our guys show up 15 minutes early, boots, coveralls, toolbox open for start time at 7, okay, or whatever the time is, right? Next thing, safety. There's zero tolerance with us with safety. Like and we beat that into our members. Like it's like you do not accept any lesser for safety standard, because we in the skilled trades, there's too many things that will happen too quickly for you to do anything, and you're going to be dead or catastrophically injured. Okay, again, rigging a 30-ton piece of equipment or a 500-pound cylinder, doesn't matter. It's going to hurt you. Okay, you watch Terminators, machines always win. Okay, so that's number 2. The third one is going to be attitude. Just don't be toxic. If you're not toxic and you're getting along, you don't have to be best friends with the person. You don't have to be, that's not what we're asking, but don't be toxic. Don't be a cancer to your work, because you're not going to last with that group. Okay, you're just not. Okay, not asking you to be, Mr. Happy Pants and, all that. But again, don't be toxic. And then the last one, effort. Okay, like that's on you. Like you got to put in an effort, not asking to be Superman or Superwoman on the job, but just put in an effort. It goes a long way. If you can do that, skilled trades, not anything in life, if you can do those 4 things, you're going to be successful at what you do. Simple as that.
In anything.
It sounds simple.
I love that.
You just got to do it.
Yeah. Walk the walk. I think that's a great place to end on. I have a bunch more questions that I could have asked.
I elaborate a lot. I just don't. I like to get the point across. You know what I mean? Because it's doing things like this with you guys and the others I do. This like speaking engagements I do. It's like I've done enough of them where I know what quite a few, or what the crowd wants, or what they're there for to actually hear. And it's like I know a lot of the questions are the same. Like right. So it's like I try to nip those in the butt. So then. Okay, that's answered. Now, what's the other stuff that I haven't been concentrating on? What else can I absorb now? Or what else can I? So I appreciate you guys. Honestly, I love coming and talking on these things. I love promoting the trades, especially the millwrights. Okay, something I'm passionate about, and I think it's a great career choice. And I just don't for anything for your listeners, don't sell yourself short. Okay, that's simple as that. Again, back to that apprenticeship. They ain't signing you up for an apprenticeship. You walk away. It's simple as that. Okay, do not sell yourself short. Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you again, Noel. Really, really appreciate your time. And if you are a job seeker, please visit CareersNow.ca and create your job seeker account. If you have questions for Noel, anything specific, I'm sure, he's open to answer anything. If you are interested in this as a career path, you can certainly connect with him via me. And my email address is everywhere. So you should be able to connect Nicole.Galocci@FoodGrads.com. And I'm so thrilled to have you on the show today. I'm going to probably bug you again for next year and get you back, because I have all the other questions that I didn't ask. So I appreciate it.
Anytime, guys. I appreciate it again. Good luck to all to the listeners right now. Good luck. Don't give up, and just again, effort, guys. That's what it is. It's about effort and being an adult. Okay.
Yeah. So. Well said. On that note, thanks again. Have a great rest of the day, everyone. Take care.